This is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening to The Truth is Still Straight podcast.
All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you for all those tuning in. This is Jonathan St. James, and this is the Truth is Still Straight podcast, along with your hosts, Jonathan St. James, and Jonathan St. James. Unfortunately, LaDonna Marie is not available, as well as Jim. Yeah, I know. It's terrible that they're not in. But you got to understand that, everyone has other things going on. They do try to make it when they have time. And when they have time, it's quite all right that they pop in and assist the show and going on. But even though they're not here, the show must go on, and I'm here to continue it in their absence. So I'd also like to give shout outs for those of you that I know who are listening. I know the viewers are slowly and surely moving forward and getting bigger, and I appreciate all those who subscribe and those who may watch, even if for a minute or a couple of minutes, enough for you to kind of just show your support. I appreciate every bit of support that I get, and especially those who I know who listen, which is Pedro Falcone, Tatiana Cruz. We got V, Milton, we got Lee. We also have Sister Millie from the West Coast, and Beverly, whenever she listens. It may be 2 years from now, it may be an eternity. She may have to travel from the future back in time to listen and watch, but I appreciate it for those who support. All right, folks. So definitely got a show for you today. Want to react to a couple of things here that I was watching over the weekend. One of them is the Kevin Samuels video, as we always love to react to, and another is a Fresh and Fit. Now, the Fresh and Fit video, I can't tell you exactly what the name of it is, but it's with Tommy Sotomayor. I'm trying to see if I can find it while we're talking here. It's with Tommy Sotomayor. So basically, it's a heated debate. And I don't have, hold on, let me look on the screen over here. Heated debate, Black Queens confront Tommy Sotomayor and Donovan Sharpe. All right, so that's the second video we'll react to. And the first one is going to be Kevin Samuels, and that's Why Are Men Intimidated? Why are men intimidated by women like me? And it's not the whole video, just a portion where I kind of want to react to. This is kind of like a typical interaction between Kevin Samuels and a lot of women that call the show. So I kind of want to react to that. And yeah. All right. So let me go react to the video, and let me get it going here. And again, here we go. Kevin Samuels, right on tap.
Why would a man choose you over thousands of other women? That's the question.
That's a great question, and I still feel like I'm trying to figure out how to market myself. I do feel like I've been a firm believer in personal development. I think a lot of us don't come from backgrounds where we were provided with stuff, so I'm constantly seeking this knowledge. That's why I'm on here.
But what would you have? But you have to give me something. You know yourself better than I do, so don't tell me I don't know.
I would say one thing that is my strength is I'm a very social person. So when I think of somebody who is in that income bracket, I feel like I would their business because of the social relationships that I have. I would be that connector. I'm really known for being a good networker.
All right, so let me pause it there just so you get an understanding of what's happening here. So the woman is 36 years old. I think she may have 2 kids. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case with her, but she is saying that she wants a man that makes into the 6 figures, and she went through this breakdown with Kevin Samuels, and I think you may see it after this, but she definitely gives an overview where she wants an extremely successful man, and she's explaining what she has to offer the man, and that's what's going on here. So this is where we're at now, and he went through the the usual questions that he asked her, weight, dress size, height, age, stuff like that. So they're at the point where they pass that, and he's getting into what would you bring to a man that you want, and that's what she's discussing now.
So I think I'd be add value.
Do you know any men that earn that kind of money?
Not personally, no.
Mm-hmm. Do you know any men who earn over $400,000 a year?
Not
No.
into. Yes, I do.
You do or don't?
I do.
Are they married?
No, they're single.
What do you think a man who makes that kind of income, what are some of the things they would want from a woman?
I definitely feel they want a baddie for sure.
Okay, so let me just stop there. And let me tell you, this lady is a trip. One, she's, very 36, but kind of not letting go of the youth there. And the mere fact that she said that a man wanted a baddie was a little red flaggish. So she definitely, she gets an alarm from me. And she gets an alarm from me. And I'll let Captain continue to talk so you could kind of get an understanding of where this is going. Again, this clip I'm about to hold for about 10 minutes or something like that. But I wanted you to see kind of how this goes, and it's just very interesting where it ends up, and you'll see shortly.
Sure.
A what?
A baddie. Like, they want somebody who is like a 10 for sure. Somebody who's well kept, well put together, dresses well, speaks well, articulate, great conversation, can be in a crowd with anybody and be able to be put together.
You just described a man.
I described a man?
Mm-hmm. You're describing the prototypical Tyler Perry Sex and the City metro female fantasy.
Oh my God.
So in case you're not really paying attention, but paying attention, what he's basically saying to her is that the way a woman would describe how they would want a man is how she's describing how a man would want a woman, which is what almost always occurs when he or many men ask women what do women look for in a man. They tend to project what they're looking for in a relationship and not what a man is looking for. And that's facts.
Men at that level tend to be very traditional. They're housewives were raised to be housewives. They're not socialites. They're not networking. They don't need you to network. They're already, the ends are meeting like a motherfucker with these men.
Excuse the cursing.
So you ladies have been told, go out and get your PhD.
I'm a PhD.
And then you go out here and you can network and help them build a business. He doesn't need you for that. Would your kids be in private school or public school?
I would like them to be homeschooled.
All right. Would you have a
I smell cap.
I just wanted to say that.
housekeeper?
Yes.
Would you have somebody to help prepare food, the meals?
I like to cook. That's my love language, one of my love languages.
Cooking? Cooking isn't a love language.
It feels.
But I'm asking, would you have somebody who would help you with the household chores, but they wouldn't cook?
Yes.
Yes, they would, or no, they wouldn't?
I like to cook. I personally like to cook.
Yes, they would, or no, they wouldn't?
No, they would not.
Would you have a nanny?
Yes.
So you want a housekeeper and a nanny. So effectively, you're going to incubate a baby.
Yes.
So basically, what a man at that level effectively gets your DNA.
36.
There's another woman in the house to help tend the house, another woman to help raise the children. He gets your DNA.
And I just want to stop it there because the funny thing is, if you watch Kevin Samuels quite often, you will see this is always the classic response. No one ever wants to work. They'll say that they're interested in this type of man, and then they'll try to say they want to they'll deal with a regular guy, but they usually need some coaxing to get there, which tends to mean they don't want to. But a lot of times when people are losing an argument with Kevin, they try to move the goalpost somewhere else so they can not embarrass themselves on the show that he's talking to them on. And that's usually what occurs. And that's kind of like what she'll try to do. I don't know if I'll get far enough in this video for you to see that, but she tries to do that with him in the conversation. Okay, so let's begin.
What kind of professions would a man need to have legally to make $650,000 or more legally?
He would have to be in finance, attorney, anesthesiologist.
Finance doing what? Finance doing what?
I would suppose he'd have to be like a financial advisor.
For whom?
Come on, man.
For athletes or the 1% wealthy, managing funds for them.
Okay. And you said an attorney?
An attorney.
What kind of attorney?
Entertainment attorney, corporate law.
Okay. What else?
What are the other type? They would have to be in finance. I would say like, stocks, things of that sort, like Wall Street. Those are the ones that come to my mind right now.
Well, man, if you want this high post man, I think you should be able to know at least what he does. See, this is what I'm showing.
Okay. All right.
I agree with Kevin on there, because it sounds like she's really just putting out her interest in a man while she's talking to him, and didn't really think about what she really wanted before she got on the show and actually he started interviewing her. And that's also classic to a lot of women. I don't really know why some of these women come on Kevin Samuels and they actually go through this, because many of them, they know how this is going to turn out. And I wouldn't take anything away from her. She looks great. I don't want to say for 36, but she is 36 and she looks great. I don't know if I like the hair particularly. I mean, it definitely matches her, I guess. I don't know if I agree with the style, but I mean, it looks like it works for her. She kind of reminds me a little bit of Monica, the singer, but yeah. So let's continue.
You ladies like yourself, you want this luxury lifestyle, and you can't even give me 5 professions that you would look into. Okay, well, let's go on the other side. An average or an above average man. Average man makes $40,500. Would you date an average man? Seriously?
I have.
No.
Can I?
Would you marry an average man?
Yes.
That means you'd have to work.
Hold on a second here. Okay, my lines are telling me that I got Maury Povich in here. Maury Povich, what do you want to say to this lady, 36 years old, that just finished originally saying that she wanted a high earner, and now she's saying she would date an average guy? What did you want to respond to her with that?
My detector test determined that was a lie.
Maury Povich, I always thank you for your services. And we also have one of the girls from Full House. I can't remember what her name, Jodie Sweetin. What do you want to say to this lady about her switching up?
How rude.
That is rude. Anyway, we'll continue.
And bring home substantial money. Because
yes,
your lifestyle and his lifestyle are different. You'd be the breadwinner. You would do that.
That's why I feel toggled between the two. And that's why I work my business right now, because I tried dating guys that were, I guess you would say the average blue collar.
The answer is no or yes.
Can you ask the question one more time? I'm sorry.
Would you decrease your lifestyle and your standard of living to marry an average man?
Okay.
No, I would not decrease my lifestyle.
All right, so this is the problem. Women in your age, too old, your standards are too high, your standard of living is too high, and you've outpaced the market. You don't know what the men do. Yes, attorneys, but even you talk about specialized attorneys. You're talking about people in the service class, and they're servicing the elite.
Yeah.
That's a very
And I want to stop it there again. So he says something that I always agree with when women talk about what they want in relationships with men. And that is they don't want to. So she's 36, she's older. So she wants a guy that's uber successful. A lot of, a lot of income there. But we all know that many men, I won't say all, there are many men that are not looking for women that are 36, may have kids already, and sort of towards the end of their reproducing years. You know, because it's a gamble, a lot of times you have women who struggle with pregnancy, miscarriages, and things like that. Then you got to do in vitro fertilization, all these doctor's appointments. You got to keep on top of your ovulation, this and that. And then you have to deal with the women who've sort of dealt with less than stellar kind of men in their lives to get to this point where they're looking for the marrying kind. And then you have those people who, when they go through that, they tend to not be the easiest. And I've been through that in my life where, I met some women who were older and they just gave a hard time, and it just made it difficult to proceed past the attraction phase, whereas like we can get into a relationship, we can be boyfriend or girlfriend and things like that, because their character was just so unagreeable and difficult that I just I just couldn't proceed. And then they're just, it's very hard to convince someone to be different when they're already set in their ways. So that pretty much was the case for me, from women that were older, and I met them and tried to pursue a relationship. It just couldn't happen because of a lot of the past traumas. They kind of brought it up in the present relationship. And that happens to many guys. And a guy who's making 400,000, 250,000, they're going to be a lot more selective than I am. And I was very selective. So that's my point.
very, very small group. The group they service is small, and the group that services them even smaller. And what they don't go looking for is a partner.
Facts.
And they don't just go looking for DNA. They tend to go looking for women who are housewives, who are going to provide them a quality of life. You are effectively a luxury room in another bill. No shade, because homeschool, but you want a nanny, you want a housekeeper. So your job description is going to be, I have sex with my husband and I produce his children. And then after the second child is produced, then what? What is your job after the second child is produced? Someone is in the house taking care of it. Somebody is in the house raising it. What do you do?
Mm-hmm. Look
Because you
pretty.
don't want to pay more than 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Can I share some?
Share.
Yeah, but I'm hello? Go ahead.
So when I've tried dating guys that were like the last gentleman that I was dating, he was a truck driver. And what was coming up was he was expressing that just the way I dress and put myself together, he was intimidated by the way I put myself together. And although I was okay with meeting him where he was at, it became a problem. And so through that journey and kind of looking back at it, I felt like I had to level up my standards because I felt like I kept coming against a wall when I am trying to date.
So, okay. So I know what kind of guy you were dealing with. Hold on.
Beta.
Yes. So here's the problem when you hear men say that. Men only say things like that for one or two reasons. Either they are definitely insecure in who they are as a person. There are some men that are like that, and they are, as I said,
Beta.
or you have men that they're not really interested, but they don't know how to tell you that because they want to say this, but they can't.
Will you stop touching me?
Mm-hmm. They're not interested for whatever reason. And it's very rare. And I'm going to tell you the truth. It also depends on the attractiveness of a woman. If a man finds, well, it's very hard for men to tell women how they really feel at times. And we should be honest. But of course, if you have an attraction to somebody, or you think that they're the kind of woman that you may be able to come around and date down the road, it is very difficult for you to say brutal truth to some women because they can't get past how you made them feel when you told them something that wasn't flattering about themselves. That happens. Let me tell you, I've been there, and I know other men who've been there. They, you think you could come back later, and it doesn't all work out. And sometimes they just hold a grudge on you for hurting them or upsetting or damaging the ego. That happens a lot. So
somebody for just truly getting to know them.
Well, the problem isn't the truck driver. The problem is why, and when you were 22 years old, weren't you looking to be married?
I was looking to get married.
Okay. You've been engaged?
Yes, I have.
Who called off the engagement?
I did.
Why?
It was emotionally abusive.
I smell cap.
And that's a word that a lot of women use. That's usually the go-to. If I could play a million Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, I can't think of who else is out there, but that's always the case. Toxic, abusive. They say those things. And although she does admit one of them was her fault, so I'm inclined more so to believe her than a lot of other women that come on these shows and claim it, because Kevin, I don't know if Fresh and Fit, because I don't watch them as much as I watch Kevin Samuels, but I do know that Kevin definitely pushes back on that, and he sort of asks questions to get a further clarification of what they're considering to be abusive. And so I'm almost finished with this video, but I just want to wrap it up.
So you've not dealt with any suitable men in your life that were marriage minded?
I did not know how to look for that at the time. No.
But the answer is you had.
That's where she's blaming herself.
Yes.
So you weren't really looking, because if you weren't available to receive it. So,
and that's what I always say. I'm sorry to stop it so fast, but I tend to say that quite often, because I do believe the problem with relationships and why women don't see themselves in them is because many women don't know how to make themselves available to men that may be interested in them. And you don't have to jump with the first guy that meets you, but you should give him a chance. And if you're interested, or if you're open to being interested, because some women, they grow to like the men that they get involved with. There's some women today, they may not like the guy, tomorrow they may. But you have to open yourself to allow that to happen in your life. And many women do not know how to do that. And in the olden days, what they used to show on TV shows, cartoons, whatever, they showed as women drop these handkerchiefs, I think, and the men would pick them up. And that's how things started. Things got situated in that fashion. So that is what he's trying to explain to her, is you're not really available to men, and you're available to the ones that you don't want, because those type of men, the ones you really don't want, they'll definitely go after you, because many of them have nothing to lose. So why not try?
Do you make room for the possibility of the fact that this is what tends to happen with women? You're hypergamous. You want a man to have at least what you have. What happens the longer you work in your profession? You make more money. The older one gets, the more you've experienced.
Yes.
You want a man that's way up here, but your sexual marketplace value is down here relative to this. And if this man is up here, just like you would have to settle, he'd have to settle. Is it fair to ask him to settle?
No.
And he's not going to. And if you don't actually get somebody, and what happens, do you earn over six figures?
No, I don't.
Not
right now.
Over six figures?
Excuse me?
Have you ever earned over six figures?
Yes, I did.
For how long?
3 years.
In LA?
Yes.
Over 200,000?
Not over 200,000, no.
Over 150?
He's on fire!
Less than 150.
So due respect, you were making about
125.
So that was like making $63,000 in Atlanta. So ma'am, the way you kind of come across your image is like you're making $250,000 in Dallas or Houston. You're an above average earning woman. Okay? But you want a man who's making multiples more. What does your father do for a living?
And I'll pretty much stop it for this video here because he goes back and forth with her about her parents and stuff like that. And, her parents were middle class. And I think she says her father was like an x-ray technician. I don't remember what she said her mother was, but yeah, so it was interesting that Kevin goes back and forth with these women like that. And, that's the point that I wanted to bring up, because her thing was saying that men that make less are intimidated. But how can a man get intimidated by what you, and she said, and I think that was a projection that really Kevin didn't talk about, but he does in its essence, because he says she lives above her means. But he doesn't talk about her projecting herself to be this higher than what she really is woman by buying things that she really can't afford. And that's what he says later in the video. But I didn't want to spend too much time on these videos. And the issue there with him and her, and this is a common theme when he invites these women on his show, is that they tend to swing high. They tend to swing high for the fences. And then he kind of has to bring them back down to earth, because what he's saying to them is their desires are not really, they're not geared in common sense and reality. And it's true. And I think that's what, if women really wanted to be in relationships, they're going to have to learn how to use common sense in their relationship and use real expectations. And there's some, there are definitely women that should have expectations that are realistic. You should have a man that's respectful, that's going to respect boundaries and things like that. And whatever agreement you have for that relationship, they should be able to honor it. I think that's very important. But this $200,000, $300,000 a year, and you're 36, you're 40 years old. Yeah, I don't know how that's happening. Is it possible? It's possible, but is it probable? What does President Obama have to say about that?
Come on, man.
Right, I agree with that. And then you have a lot of opinions. And then, of course, when you have opinions and they're very strong and you want to meet a man that's high earning, or as they like to say, high value, Steve Harvey has a response to that all the time. What do you say, Steve Harvey?
Oh, hell no.
There you have it. Hell no. And then, of course, if the man is extremely high, making high six figures or 7 or above, this is what he thinks.
It doesn't matter what you think.
And that's really the point of the matter is, the higher you go up in wages, there are many women who admire extremely successful men. And those kind of men tend to know that women admire them, and they know the odds are in their favor. So the older you are, the more baggage you have in terms of relationships, the lesser men will look at you in a relationship desire. Now, there are those Bill Gates types, or looking like Steve Jobs or Stephen Hawking or one of those people. They're definitely looking for a relationship, and you could definitely find someone that is socially awkward, that may not be able to meet women. But again, you got to be available to those guys. Got to be nice and friendly. When the man meets you, you have to be willing to engage. If you're interested, you can't just like, hey, how you doing? You're like, fine. Oh, what are you doing here tonight? Hanging out with friends. Oh, do you live in the city? Yes. You can't be like that, because if I'm a man and if I have a woman that is in front of me that talks like that to me, I'm going to be like this. I'm out. There's no way that I'm sticking around with a woman that's just not being cooperative with me when I meet her. And then it's, she's sounding like this. Not getting along, not being friendly, and not necessarily being mean or cruel or anything like that, but not being engaging. Being engaging is very important. That's why so many women make great salespeople, because a man can come, especially if they're an attractive woman, they can go in there and a woman can be very kind. And just by speaking to a man, it sort of butters them up to buy things from a woman who is polite, who's engaging, who may be attractive. And yeah, men like that. Men like that. I think that's why, for a while before the pandemic, Hooters was a pretty successful restaurant. Now, yeah, women have nice tight shirts and tight shorts and stuff like that. But once you get beyond that, most of the women that work at Hooters are very friendly. I've never met a rude server at Hooters. Never. Not that I go there religiously, but the few times that I've been there, they've been extremely polite. I think they want to call that like the girlfriend experience. I have someone I know, a friend named Jamie Drew, and she has this service called the girlfriend experience, in which men will feel like they're getting treatment like they would from a girlfriend. So that's a real thing. You got to be able to give a man the girlfriend experience when you meet them. Not saying that you got to sleep with them or do this and do that, but you got to show them that you're interested and give them the opportunity to be interested in you. Because if not, I'd be doing this. Leaving. Because why bother with someone who's not interested in you when you know you can find someone else that may be? And that's the point when you have men who know their value. Just like if you're a woman, you know your value, you shouldn't be accepting types of treatment that men are giving you. If it's disrespectful, rude, just not appropriate, then you should know your value and not accept that. And that's usually what the case is. All right, so here's the next video. That was brief. The next video, this is a very interesting one, fresh and fit. And again, I said this one is called Heated Debate, Black Queens Confront Tommy Sotomayor and Donovan Sharpe. Now, for those of you who don't know who Tommy Sotomayor is, he is the original godfather of this manosphere world, or whatever, red pill, whatever you want to call it. But he's Kevin Samuels before Kevin Samuels. Now, he's not as polished as Kevin Samuels, but the guy has a lot of great points that he makes, and he tends to be a lot more harsh than what Kevin Samuels could say to any woman. So I wanted to cue that up and play that. And here we go. Let me turn the sound up, and then let's share the screen.
When it comes down to, as far as Black women, you guys always put it on the forefront and give the other nationalities, as far as your Black queens, that opportunity. As
hold on, check this out. Hold on, check this out.
You guys put them on a pedestal.
You gotta give yourself a title you didn't earn. Hold up. Tommy, you took the words right out of my mouth.
This is insane,
guys. Listen, this is out of control.
You know how many?
Hold on, real quick. I don't care.
Earn the title.
Hold on, Tommy.
Just because you're Black.
Hang on. No. Check this out. I don't care what color you are. You cannot become a queen unless a king appoints you. Period. You can't be a queen unless a king appoints you. Hold on, Tommy. It's just like self-love. A woman cannot love herself unless a man loves her first. This is why.
So I wanted to stop that there, because this is actually, I'm not playing the whole video because the video is about 3 hours and 5 minutes or something like that. I want to put it in this part because I want to show you the disconnect. We talked about this on a couple of podcasts prior to this, on the disconnect that men and women have with each other when it comes to disagreements. And he says now the one who was speaking, the guy that's in the back there on the left side, that's Tommy Sotomayor, for those of you who may not know. And then on the right side is Donovan Sharpe. So what he was saying is that, and this is the truest statement in the world, a queen cannot exist without a king. That is true. It is true in many instances. A queen must be made by either marrying a king or being the sole heir to the throne of a king. So if I was a king and I had a daughter and I passed away, she would become a queen. Now, a man who marries a queen can never become a king. He doesn't become a king. Well, I don't know who Queen Elizabeth's husband is in England, but he is not a king, even though he was married to her. I don't know if he's still alive or not. I don't really care too much about British monarchy, but that's how it works. So when Queen Elizabeth dies, then Prince Charles will become the king and his wife will become the queen. And once he passes away, whoever's the oldest son will become the king and his wife will become the queen. But I think no, that's the younger son. So the oldest son, I don't know, Harry, William, I think is the older one, whoever it is, I don't really know, but he'll become the king after Prince Charles dies. And if Queen Elizabeth outlives Prince Charles and she dies, then his son will automatically become the heir to the throne, which is really symbolical because they really have no power, but they get money from the country, which is interesting. I never understood why they still do that in England, but it is what it is. And then, so that's his point there, and let him continue to speak on that.
Hey, listen, check this out.
No.
This is,
First
let me
of all,
listen.
I'm objecting that because I haven't had a mad love in a while.
Okay, you guys have to let me finish. Hold on.
I got to turn this sound down. Hold on a second here.
This is easy. At a time. The ladies are not going to interject. You're going to let the men say what they want to say.
Excuse me.
Then, after they're finished, we will definitely turn it back to you so you can make your point as well. We're going to make sure everyone gets an opportunity to say their piece, one mic at a time. No random interjections.
Holy.
Okay. So, Donovan, you had a point, and then we're going to go. Then you had something, right?
Hey, well, I'll just finish it like this.
Well, Donovan, go first, and then we'll turn it to her. Then we'll turn it to. I think you wanted to say something, right?
Women are incapable of self-love. Okay, this is why little girls who grow up without fathers seek love from men in promiscuous ways. The reason for that is because the little girl didn't have a father to show her that unconditional love, so she seeks that in promiscuous ways. Little girls don't know that they're loved unless they have a father. And so this is why we say all the time, fathers keep little girls off stripper poles and boys out of prison. And it's just like the king-queen thing. You can't just be like, I'm a woman, so I'm a queen. Wrong answer. You can't be a queen unless a king appoints you. It's just like self-love. A woman is incapable of loving herself unless a man loves her first, period. And the empirical data shows that girls with daddy issues make terrible decisions.
So now I want to stop it here because it's about to get ugly. And the truth of the matter in all this is what he's saying is he's going to really explain it. But what happens is it takes an entirely long time for the ladies on this panel to comprehend. Because again, when we say on this podcast, a lot of people, in this instance, these women tend to listen to respond and not listen to understand or create clarity in the discussion or disagreement. And that is the classic case of what happens here, because you're going to see very shortly that they're going to argue, even though he is making a lot of sense. So let me continue on playing it so you can get an idea of what I'm saying.
Case closed.
Okay.
Beg to differ.
So I will turn it to her, and then
Give her all you want,
right?
but facts are facts.
Yeah, I'll be sure that.
All the girls in
That
the
ain't coming
table
from
like,
a king, so that's not a fact.
Exactly.
I never called myself a king, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Exactly.
So
Here we go.
Lame that y'all are sorry. I'm sorry.
There we are. Here we go. I'm not a king, but you're a queen, right?
That's some, hold on.
I didn't say it was a queen, but
That's the lamest shot.
Tommy, let me let her go, and then you can go. I just want to make sure we keep it very one mic at a time, and then you got it right after. Tommy, go ahead. What was your?
Do it.
So speaking from a person that was raised by my father and then lost my father because of the system, I don't agree with the fact that you're saying that a woman with daddy issues, as far as daddy issues can mean in so many different ways. Women can have situations where their daddy either raped them or...
Hold on.
In the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories.
Now, before I continue to play this video, I want you to hear what she says. Now, remember what she says here, and remember what Donovan said before that. And then he will continue to clarify what he's saying that he never really got a chance to say because they started jumping down his throat the minute he said it in the way that they didn't like it. Remember, when you're discussing with somebody, before you argue what they're saying is wrong, you should ask them what they mean before you respond to them. That's all I'm saying.
Grape them, or fruits. Or did anything type of hard to them, or as far as the part, like for instance, my situation, my dad had to be deported out of this country. It was unfortunate, but he tried to be there as a father.
Of course.
But when it comes to the fact of you're saying that a woman can't love themselves for years,
unless a man loves her first.
No, because it took me for years.
Now remember, she said that. Remember, she said 4 years, because when he explains it, it's going to make a lot of sense.
It comes down to mental health, because you got to think mental health collides in that daddy issues you're claiming that women have. When it
Are you saying there's no such thing as daddy issues?
I'm not saying there's
Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
no such thing as daddy issues, but it comes down to mental things as far as what you want to take and what you want to embrace in your life. So if you let men treat you like shit, that's because you want men to treat you like shit. But if you love yourself, you will know what your value and what you're worth in this world. It took me a while. Let's just say, for instance, when I was younger, I used to do crazy shit, of course, but it took me a while to realize, you know what? I have value. The fact that I know what I carry as far as my womanhood, between my legs, as I walk in these streets, what I lay in these sheets, at the end of the day, if you know what you're capable of handing out here to a woman, what I could do for a man as far as cook, clean, fucking make sure trust me, my man is happy, so I gotta speak on that.
I don't know what any of that has to do with.
So now, watch what happens now. But I just want to say, she doesn't say husband. So clearly, there's something going on there, because you said you're a man, and you talked about how many years it took you to figure it out, and you don't have a husband. So.
Hey, you there.
Self-love.
It's saying, though, you don't have to have a man to love. My man could say he loved me, okay, but at the end of the day, show me. Because what you could
what
do
does that
for
have to do with
what
self-love?
What you could do for you, what your man could do for you, you could do for yourself.
No, you're a man to love you.
Hold on, let her speak.
You're saying a man has to what as far as love, that's just emotion, right? When it comes to it's not it's not just emotion. It's what you do for yourself. I provide for myself. I make sure my hair and my nails are done all the time. That's self-love. I make
self-care. There's a difference.
No, I'm sorry, that's not self-love. Yeah, that's not self-care.
That's self-care. That's a difference.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Let her finish her. Oh,
no, it's okay.
Tommy,
go ahead.
You had something, Tommy?
She said, "I'm not a king, Tommy. Get her."
Drink because I don't want to be that guy that's either blinded by lust or alcohol.
Be that guy, Tommy.
If you guys are listening, please understand, as I said earlier, this is what women try to do. Confuse a man by saying things that are hypocritical and damn near stupid. And if you tell them that it's stupid, you're the bad guy. You just had a woman who could have answered a simple question, which he was talking about self-love, yet she convolutes the discussion, says a whole bunch of shit that has nothing to do with what he said. I fixed my toenails, so you know I love myself. Just ridiculous. I know I used to be a hoe, but I'm not now. So which means that you did exactly what you did exactly what the person was saying you did, regardless of the fact that you claim, I know it's worth something now. That's like saying, I had a Rembrandt, it was worth something when I had it. I rubbed it in shit for years. Now I want to sell it as a Rembrandt now. You ruined its value by the things you did. Only an idiot overlooks that. But when it comes down to self-love, what he's saying, I know it sounds confusing at first. It does. A lot of things that hurt you is like when I was little, they used to give you this fucking medicine and it sucked.
Oh my God, yeah.
But that fucker got you well. We have too many women who are too busy arguing how they feel up front about a fact instead of applying it. If you're fat and you work out, that shit hurts. Hell, it hurt to walk. You get them damn ants and shit on your thighs and shit. You don't want to do it. But when you keep doing it, you start losing weight and you start realizing this shit works. So when someone's talking, maybe step back away from the initial pain and say, what are they saying? See, I have a daughter. And the reason that I know my daughter's different than other kids, even she says it, because she has a dad who makes her feel love before anyone else does. And black women are the only motherfuckers who argue that stupid shit all damn day, that I don't need no man and I didn't need no daddy. Yes, you did, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have had to go through the story of I used to not value myself.
And that's not your...
And that is it. Bing, bing, bing. I wish I had the sound effect for that. I don't, but I'll put this for effect instead.
Oh, my God.
Because that is 100%, you see, facts. And that is what Donovan was trying to explain in the beginning. He'll come back and clarify what he was trying to say. But the point that he's making is when you don't have those guys, those values and understanding about men, then you will go through life figuring it out through trial and error versus figuring it out through morals and standards. That is very true. If you don't understand about life, how can you know what you want if you don't know what it is that you want, because you have nothing to build upon? So if you don't know what's good or bad for you, what you're going to do is you're going to try this. That's bad. You're going to try that. That's good. You're going to try this. That's bad. You're going to try that. That's good. And then by the time you figure it out, you've done traumatized yourself in relationships so much that it creates another character than you originally started out to be. And those are facts. I know plenty of people. I've talked to plenty of women who have experienced this. Hundreds. I can't say thousands, but I've spoken to hundreds of women who have gone through this. I have done a lot, over the years, I've come into contact with a lot of women who love to talk about relationships. And guess what? For the most part of my life, I love to listen. Now, maybe that made me beta, but I'm not sure. But it could have been, but I like to listen. I wasn't interested in most of them, so it didn't bother me to listen to what they had to say. But let's go.
Fault. I mean, your dad is your dad.
But I'm saying we should discuss it in a real sense, because when a man makes you, when your father tells you that first love, that's your first man.
That's right.
And when he makes you feel like you're perfect, because let me tell you, your father is the only person that loves you
unconditionally, my friend.
Fuck him to do it unless you got a shitty daddy. So the point is, every other man after that, he's seeking something from you. Your dad only wants to see you do well, and he requires nothing from you. And that is an amazing feeling for a girl to walk into the world knowing that this man exists.
That's right.
Also, there's a respect issue. You start to look for that in the next man that you are with, because you see that a man loves you without thanking you first. When you don't have that, you start thinking the world has dictated what I am. That's why you have so many girls who on Instagram, they show you their ass before they show you their education.
Real talk.
They'll show you their ass before they show you their accomplishments. Your accomplishments is what you did. Your ass is what you got from Dr. Miami. Now,
that don't apply to all queens.
I want to make this clear, Tommy.
Even the fact that you keep saying all queens.
Nina Pena didn't get no surgery.
The fact that if you had a father, you would need to call yourself something that you didn't wear. The fact that y'all don't even think it's weird that white women don't go around calling themselves queen, but black women feel the necessity to add something to their name. Got him. It's insane. You're a queen because you're just a black woman.
No,
that's all you need.
It's a discrepancy of not having a
empowerment
father there.
That's what we're trying to.
So as you see, there we go. The argument turns circular back to the point of origin, where this is how it all started. The women are starting to agree, but they refuse to say they agree initially. Donovan and Tommy, they have to go through this process quite a few times before they understand. But as I said, if they figure that out to begin with, that we wouldn't have to went through all of this, because they could have clarified and asked for clarity when he first said it. But They just wanted to listen to reply and not to understand. And it's very important to understand, because more times when you listen to understand, you may end up not agreeing with the person, but you may respect the opinion depending on what it is.
Say though, but if you won't acknowledge that, let me tell you something. In a 12-step program, what's the first step?
Admit you have the problem.
So you just said something that we've been not acknowledging for the past 10 minutes.
But that doesn't mean that I need a man to self-love.
No, he wasn't saying random man. Y'all not listening. He wasn't saying random man.
No, initially
you're saying father,
man.
but
in general.
No, you're trying to. Y'all have to look in depth.
No,
stop being a surface reader.
No.
Hold on. They're not thinking about this logically. This is all emotional. They hear. I can't love myself unless a man loves me first, and you guys get offended. This doesn't. This is not an indictment on women.
She had something.
Okay, wait.
And then you.
All right, cool. So go ahead.
So, you know, tap me back if I'm wrong. But what you're saying is that women need their father love to love themselves?
Yes. Because that's not what
she's asking. Donovan.
That's not what he said.
Oh, she's asking Donovan.
No, I'm asking a question to Donovan. Yeah, because he said that we need men to love ourselves, and I disagree with that. So
well, hold on. No. Well, I'll tell you what I said. A
Go
woman
ahead.
cannot love herself unless a man loves her first. This is why girls who grow up without fathers end up seeking love in other ways. When a little girl has her father, she experiences the true version of unconditional love. And with that unconditional love, she goes out into the world and she makes better decisions. Now, are there girls who had good fathers at home who still end up hoes? Yeah. But girls who don't have fathers almost always end up as hoes.
Okay.
I agree with that. And of course, Stephen A. Smith had a comment to these ladies. First of all, to you disagreeing to facts and logic, he wanted to say this.
What the hell was that?
And then Stephen A. Smith, what else did you want to say to the ladies?
Stay off the weed.
All right, now back to the show at hand.
So now, please let her
yeah.
make her thing, and then we're gonna go around.
Having a father, having a man in your life, period, has nothing to do with loving yourself. Loving yourself is a journey. That's a self-walked journey. That's something you do based on
What
your
does that mean to you, though? What does that mean, self-love to you? What does that mean?
Self-love to me means a lot.
Well, please, we have time. Tell us what it is.
I know. I'm very listen, y'all. I got my GED. I'm not that smart, okay?
Well, you're not that smart for when you put that tattoo on. I'm just saying.
I didn't ask you. Let me.
That was a joke. That was a joke. But
myself out.
Shay, just make your point, please.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Tommy, you can't make this shit up, bro.
I know.
Self-love is taking care of your mental, taking care of your spirit, your body,
Move to another girl.
your finances.
I feel like self-love has nothing to do with men, because I feel like self-love is something within yourself. You learn how to be confident with yourself by yourself. You learn how to love every curve.
That's not true.
Everything.
Okay,
What do you have to say about self?
You ain't got the answer, Sway.
Let her finish. Let her finish.
No, go ahead. Continue, and then I'll let you know.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the first two that I named, self-love is taking the initiative when it comes to self. You feel me? Because you can sit there and you can.
No way.
You can.
But what does that mean, though? Because you're just saying words. I don't know what that means. She's just saying words. I don't know what
you gotta stop interjecting.
It's her turn.
Stop. One fucking mic at a time.
Excuse
To
the
all the
cursing.
girls, everyone on the
Sorry,
panel.
peeps.
When someone's talking, don't interrupt them and interject. Okay? If we need to fucking clarify, we'll do it, but stop doing it. All right, go ahead, Shay.
She can say what she has to say.
No,
Very
man,
passionate.
there's no.
No,
Get your thoughts out
those
there.
are
Get
the
your
first
thoughts out
main-
there, and
those
then
are the
someone
first
can
main
challenge you
points.
after you finish. But finish what you're trying to say first. Don't fucking disrupt the quality of the podcast. So do your dumbass interjections, guys. Go ahead, Shay. Finish your point, and then we'll go to Italy, and then we'll go to Albania after. Albania, stop interrupting, please.
I'm gonna just put it in the gist, bro. Self-love is within self. It has nothing to do with nobody. It has nothing to do with your mother, your father, your cousin, your sister, your brother. It has nothing to do with that. That is a journey you choose to walk on yourself. That's what I think self-love is. It's inner beauty. That's something you find, bro. It goes beneath the layer of the fucking skin.
So it's within.
It's within, deep as deep. So what do you think self-love is?
No. First of all, I just want Greta Thunberg to comment on this.
How dare you?
Because here's the truth of the matter. There's no way you can do anything in this world pretty much by yourself. I mean, you can go to the bathroom and, fall asleep. But here's the truth. You drive a car. Yes, you drive a car by yourself, but you can't legally drive without a license. And how do you get a license? You learn how to drive, and someone teaches you. Someone teaches you how to drive a car. You learn somehow. So yeah, you could probably learn by watching a video, or you could learn by somebody teaching you how to drive. It's just like relationships. You're going to learn relationships from either your parents explaining and sitting down and talking to you, or showing you love, or your parents showing each other love. And you can say, oh, my parents were this way with each other, and that's what you want for yourself. Or you can learn none of that, and you can do what most people do when they don't learn at home. They learn in the streets, but the streets are not the best teachers. So what she's saying is not true. You can't go on a journey to learn stuff without an instruction. It just makes no sense. So she, I understand where she's thinking, but as Tommy said before that, you're thinking on the surface. And you'll see by the end of this conversation, I'll try to, because, I don't want to keep you too long, but you'll see by the end of this conversation what he says.
Go ahead, and then we'll go to Albania.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to you like a girl with daddy issues, real daddy issues.
I didn't have one, sweetie.
Well,
So go ahead.
No, I'm telling you. Well, my dad passed away when I was really young. He's not here no more.
Mm-hmm.
And then my stepdad raped me many times. Raped me, my bad. And self-love does come from that. Well, I understand what he's trying to say, because you do not, if you don't experience the real love from a man, you ain't gonna know what real love is. You are gonna look. I've been a stripper before. I was a stripper for 3 years. I've been a hoe. And it's right. You do make back this. I do belong to the goddamn streets, yeah, right? I was there, but you outcome all those things. You live and you learn. When I was younger, I did have to, in a way, I felt like I had to go up to men and get like, I don't know how to explain it, but like reassure yourself. Like reassure the love that you have for yourself.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, but it's real. Like when I went to strip and when I went to do whatever I did, you always looked for the reassure of that man to tell you, hey, you beautiful. Hey, you valuable. You do need that guy to tell you for your self-love. Don't mean that you can't live without a nigga. I mean, without a guy. My bad.
There she is.
Without self-love. I don't agree with that because I got 2 kids and I raised them alone. I mean, the dads are involved and stuff. But in a sense, I did know that self-love does come. You need a man to know what self-love is.
I disagree.
Hold on.
Well, if you don't, then you just,
It takes a lot of balls to admit that on the air, by the way.
No, initially when
Ain't no
Donovan
shame
said
here,
something,
that's
all.
when you started saying that actually self-love starts from a man,
This is the
I
wisest
flinched a
woman
little
on the
bit
panel.
because my resistance came out, right? And then I thought a second and I'm like, wow, that's actually so true, because without it, without my father or without my mother, I won't even know what love is, right?
Facts.
Because you grow up. We really do say, oh, you're on yourself, it's your self journey. It is a self journey after you have found out your love, like
The
you
hard
have figured
way.
out who you are as a person and whatnot. But family is number one, what shows you love, what shows respect, shows you values. It's basically who you are. And to me, that's what when I see a female or a male, that's how I wouldn't say judge them, but that's how I will know if they're successful or not, based on the family that they've raised, based on the daughter that they've raised, based on.
So I'm going to stop it there because it goes on for a while. And definitely these ladies make me feel like this.
All I want you to do is send an ambulance because I'm finna bust a cap in these fools.
Yeah, because again, arguing against facts. And, to me, that's very problematic when people argue facts. If there's something that's an opinion, you can give your opinion, that person can give their opinion, but it's true. It's true. Our parents are our first teachers. And anyone who's in education know that's what people tend to say. When you bring kids into a school for the first time, they say, parents are the first teachers. We need you as a partner to help your kids learn and be better students, blah, 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 blah. So, we people got to understand that. And unfortunately, these ladies do get it, but it's, after they had to drop an anvil on their heads. Most of them. Some of them got it right away. So I don't want to definitely paint everyone with the same brush. All right, folks. it's about that time. Jim is not here, but I definitely want to come with the relationship braces. Here we are. Relationship braces. Bringing hearts together, one heart at a time. Jonathan, in Jim's absence, what can you say to ladies like these on this panel and the one that was talking to Kevin Samuels to find the relationship that is suited, or rather suitable, for them? Jonathan. Well, that's me. So what do I have to say? The truth of the matter is, again, relationship is about giving and taking, good communication, and working things out. The first thing you want to do is, when there is a misunderstanding or disagreement, is listen to understand and ask clarity. So that's the first and foremost. Second of all, every action has a reaction. Every choice has a consequence in life. So when you do things, you got to understand what the effects have for you later in life. As you can see, many of these ladies, they come on these shows and they don't understand the magnitude of the consequences of the actions that they took based on bad decisions. So you want ideal for you? Don't wait too late. You got to make ideal choices and judgments while you have the opportunity, because if you don't choose, life will choose for you. And that's what happens in a lot of these situations. You see these young ladies come on these shows, especially this Fresh and Fit one, where they think that they have the great life because they're making money and they're dating guys and they're having sex and this and that. But here's the thing. What do you have when it's your last day on earth? When there's no one there for you, if you're sick and you're dying in the hospital, what do you have then? So it's very important that people understand that you got to make choices that will benefit you in the end. And those are the braces. All right, folks, it comes to that point. It's the end of the show. Try to keep it fast, because I know I've been told, don't keep it too long. I'm not at the point where people want to listen to me talk for 2 hours, so I'll do my best not to talk for 2 hours. With that being said, thank you all who watched the show and listened to it. Enjoy your week. And until next time, this is Jonathan St. James signing out for the Truth is Still Straight podcast on behalf of myself, Jonathan St. James, LaDonna Marie, Dawn M. Kane, Donnie St. James, and Jim.